Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you have it thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app, or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s. We are at Season 2, Episode 19. It's titled S.O.S. It is a Rose and Bernard flashback episode, and I will be giving it to you. But first, hello. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. Yes. All right.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yep.
All right. We are going to have Ben update us on the power rankings. But first, I promised you guys a special announcement this week, and I'm going to make you wait to the end.
That was an announcement there.
Stealing your thunder.
That wasn't it.
No, that wasn't it. Sorry. This is what happens when I drink Jack and Coke before noon.
Ben, could you update us on where our rankings were at the end of last week?
I can. Yeah, we ended.
All right.
Echo in first place, 114 points. No surprises there. We had Hurley jump out from not even in the top 3 to second place due to his strong performance. And then Kate dropped to third place.
Her knees, and then
place
she.
tie.
Sorry.
Yeah. She dropped into a third place tie with Locke, both with 62 points. At the bottom of the barrel, we still have Charlie, Mr. Cooper, and Randy. Douchebag Nations.
Randy. All right, guys. Let's do SOS. It is day 63 on the island. Rose and Bernard are organizing food from the airplane drop. Bernard's putting things away wrong, according to Rose, and so she is correcting him. He is upset that none of this seems to bother her. Like, there's food dropping from the sky, and you're just putting it away. So, like, what the fuck? And she says that she's just going to count her blessings, and this really pisses him off. He thinks, like, it's not outside of what would be reasonable to question food that's falling from the sky. But you know what? She just says, well, honey, just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you have to raise your voice. That makes him even more angry.
He didn't really raise his voice.
He didn't raise his voice.
No, he didn't.
No. Yeah, Rose is pretty hard on Bernard.
She really is. Like the way that she is hard on him. Sometimes I have to ask myself, I'm like, okay, I know I have a tendency to take things personally and I get defensive when things aren't necessarily meant that way. But sometimes the way she talks to him makes me grate my fucking teeth. Like it really gets to me. It's really condescending or patronizing the way she talks to him sometimes.
I have a lot to say about that at the end of this episode. The interactions between them as a couple. It disturbs me a little bit. So she kind of snaps at him. That makes him even more angry. And he just kind of starts yelling about the survivors, like building a kitchen instead of trying to get rescued. And he says, they've given up. We're now in the hatch.
Actually, but before we go to the hatch, I want to call out there was a bit of acting there that she did that I really, really liked, because it was like she was about to say something and then you could see her kind of choke it back and she doesn't say anything at all. And there's a lot that goes on with that little bit of acting that she did there that I thought was like really, really spot on for somebody who really wants to tell somebody something but doesn't know how.
Oh,
I just thought it was a really good. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, and that's like the entire point of this episode, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do want want to comment though, like with Bernard about this, they've given up. I feel like, okay, it's been 63 days. Excuse me if I want to build a fucking kitchen. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I feel like they've been there for a while. If I was one of the survivors, I would also be trying to like make a home there. Am I alone in this or?
No, not at all.
I mean,
okay.
2 months basically you've been there.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Like,
if you don't want to organize the food, you could always get the mayor to fucking wreck it all and throw it all over the fucking floor.
Yeah,
leave the mayor alone.
Yeah.
All right, so we're in the hash.
Well, you know how much of a cook I am, so I would definitely be organizing food and trying to ration it and making meals for everybody and whatever.
Oh, that would definitely be your job. If we were stranded on the island.
Yeah, you would definitely be the chef.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd be the kitchen lady. Ooh, what would our other jobs be?
We're having potato chip stew.
Ben would be the cobbler.
I was going to say,
Ben's
we don't have a cobbler.
Ben would be the cobbler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think I would be the island whore.
My name would be Ben.
That's Anna Lucia. She tobacco.
What?
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Sorry, Ben. I stepped on your story there by announcing that your wife would like to be an island whore.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, you can call me Ben Schumacher,
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, that's what that
right.
is.
Of course it is. Yeah. All right. Now I'm all excited thinking about living on the island and being a whore. So let's go to...
I'd actually be the semen stud. That would be my job.
What does that even mean?
Sperm donor?
I would be...
Semen stud, like a horse? Or like a...
Yes, I would be the key to our next generation of tall, warlike people.
I see. Okay, so you're banging, you're impregnating everyone. That's in between making them shoes.
Not everyone. I mean, let's not get carried away here.
Right. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, I just need a second.
You'd have to have 2 of those because if Ben impregnated them all, then they couldn't reproduce themselves because then it'd be, incest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to get into an incest situation. Like, fairly quickly.
I'd have to calm my horses after one generation, Right. But I think I could squeeze that in with shoemaking. Like I think I could do both.
We're in the hatch, and the timer shows 2 minutes. Locke is sitting at the computer, and he's desperately trying to sketch out the map that he saw on the blast door. And he's frustrated. He's like kind of scratching out what he's drawing and drawing it again. And then the timer's at 1:34, and then it's down at a minute. The alarm starts sounding more insistently. More alarmingly. Exactly.
And there's still not a second person in there, despite every opportunity to change the standard operating procedure. Yeah.
Of course. So Locke, he like closes his eyes and almost appears to fall asleep for a second. And then, hey, you going to get that? Jack chimes in as he walks into the room.
I think he was just trying to picture the map in his head. I don't think he was nodding off. I think he was just closing his eyes to have a moment and kind of try to remember.
Okay, you're right.
Remember that map.
You're right.
He was visualizing sun in the bikini. He was like, oh.
Well, that too. Yeah, obviously.
Ooh. I mean, who doesn't want to visualize sun in the bikini?
So Locke enters the numbers. He presses execute. Jack wants to know when the last time Anna checked in on the man formerly known as Henry, who we're still calling Henry. She says that he was sleeping 2 hours ago and that he has refused to eat or drink for 2 days now. Jack says he's tired of waiting and goes into the armory. While he's treating the wound on Henry's arm, Jack tells him that Henry's story about a trap gave him an idea. And he's decided to go out to the line that they're not supposed to cross. And he is going to let the others know that they will trade Henry for Walt. Henry kind of mumbles something a little bit. And Jack asks, did you say something? And then Henry, very stone cold, replies, they'll never give you Walt.
He doesn't mumble. Right. He doesn't mumble anything.
I think he just chuckles.
He just, yeah. Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
He's just laughing at the idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get the lost title screen, obviously. So this is quite a fucking moment because it's the first time that he's acknowledged that they have Walt, and he knows about it. And I mean, that's
at the same time, you don't know with him. It could be another ploy where like, oh, he said the word Walt, and I'm just going to tell him they're never going to give you Walt. Like he could just be complicating things again. You gave him the name. Like if he had said, we want his son back or something, and he said Walt, then you'd know. But instead, he gave him the name, so you don't really know that he's not just playing you.
Yep.
All right, so we come back from the title screen, and we are in flashback number 1. Rose is spinning her tires on a snow-covered city street. Bernard starts advising from the sidewalk, and Rose rolls down her window and says, with all due respect, I have been driving in snow my whole life. You mind stepping back? He ignores her. Yeah, kind of. He ignores her and goes around to the back of the car to help push. It works. The car jolts forward, and Bernard lands flat on his face in the road. Rose gets out of the vehicle to see if he's okay. They introduce themselves. She thanks him and turns to leave. But then, before getting in the car, she turns around and says, can I buy you a cup of coffee? And Bernard responds, coffee would be nice.
Yes.
And the romance begins.
Can I just tell you how many times I have fallen flat on my face pushing a car?
Really?
Because Joy...
Yes, I'm aware of Joy. Hi, Joy. Does she listen to the podcast? Hi, Joy.
I don't think so, but hi, Joy. I'll tell her that she's mentioned. She had this stick shift gold Dodge Colt 45. Or maybe, no, that was
Colt 45 is not a car.
It's like Billy D. Williams shows up.
No.
This is what happens when you're from Baltimore, is you mix up cars, guns, and malt liquor.
You know what I mean?
No, she previously had a Dodge Colt. I was actually talking about her Honda Accord hatchback. It was gold.
That's too funny. Is this like teenage time? Like, or are you talking like high school? This is 90s, mid 90s?
Mid 90s. It was just after high school, and we were stupid. But it needed a new starter, and it was a stick shift. So
you were just pushing it all the time?
I would push that fucking car all the time. I can't believe how strong I was. I pushed that car and started all the time. And then finally I got sick and tired of falling on my fucking face. And I was like, I'm going to kick in towards the cost of a new starter because she drove me around all the time. So it was the least I could do. So yeah. Anyway.
Wow. Sorry. All right. Hi, Joy. Okay. So Bernard is marching very purposefully across the beach.
I love the way he, like when he's focused and he's walking, he's like, I know nobody can see me, but this is his walk.
Yeah, he walks
he like bounces.
He walks like the character, the main character from the In-Betweeners. Why can't I think of his name? I know who you're talking about. Yeah. His real name, the actor's name is Simon, but he doesn't play Simon on the show. And now I can't think of what his character's name is, but he walks hilariously like that.
Will.
Yeah, Will, you're right. None of that matters. So Bernard is marching across the beach. Rose is trying to give Hurley a box of dharmalars, which I guess are cookies or something. And he tells her he's on a diet. He's only eating fish and water and fish and water.
Maybe Bernard gets like, what are Malamars?
Yeah, that's
Malamar
probably
is a cookie.
And maybe that's what the Dharmalars are.
A Dharmalar, yeah.
Dharmalar.
So Bernard walks up and asks Hurley to get Libby and meet him at the edge of the tree line in 5 minutes. Oh, and if you can get Jin and Son, Jenkins, and that Frogurt guy, the guy who used to make frozen yogurt, and Craig, and anybody else you can get, says Bernard. Rose wants to know what the fuck he's up to, and he looks at her very excited and says, I got an idea. And then he just starts screaming to some of the other extras, Richard, Craig, Jerome, come here. Who the fuck Jerome is? I've never seen a Jerome, but anyways.
You can always tell how good an idea on a show is really going to be by how many extras they employ in its execution.
And none of them are ever Nikki and Paolo. They don't show up until they appear one day to ruin an entire episode. Just wait.
Who?
Nikki and Paolo. I called that episode back in the beginning.
I think it was like the
I
day
have a feeling we're going to do that
episode.
We're going to do that episode, and it's going to be like, okay, here's this episode, and you're just going to be like, no, I lied. No. We're not doing this episode. Fuck this episode. We're just skipping to the next one. This is an abomination. It should have never happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like right when I asked you if you would do the podcast, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm in.
Like,
I want Nikki and Pello." Like,
I still remember watching that episode. I was like, "What the fuck is this episode about? What? Who are these people?"
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
That's why instantly I was like, I called in.
Yeah, the writers have an explanation for that psychotically stupid episode, but we'll get there. Right now, we're in the hatch with Jack, and he's putting together some gear to go and talk to the others. Anna doesn't think they'll be up for a trade, but offers to join him on the journey. Jack tells her that she's needed in the hatch and kind of glances toward Locke, because he's got a Locke problem. And she gives him her gun and tells him just not to go alone. So then we see Kate on
It's dangerous to go alone. Here, take this.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So Kate's on the shore. She's like struggling to get. I could have sworn you just said something, Ben.
Seashells on the seashore.
On the
seashore. Is that what?
Seashore. Sunshine City.
She's shelling seashells on the seashore.
Yeah. All right. So she's struggling to get shellfish open, and when she does, Sawyer says, "That's like 4 in the last half hour. Let me call the Guinness Book." Like, fuck off, Sawyer. Jesus. And she tells him, like, he can either help or he can go fucking do something else.
Yeah, what are you even doing here?
Sawyer looks up and sees Jack
like,
coming and says,
shucks.
Ooh.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite reaction right there. The groan, then laugh.
And then the laugh.
That's how you know you're hitting the fucking G spot.
That's right.
I'm not going to say, Caleb, that you're hitting my G spot. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, when you're fucking her and she's laughing, that's a dodgy proposition.
Oh, actually, no. I think the only times
dodgy
I've laughed,
meaning you don't know which way it goes. Like,
I was gonna say, yeah. If you can get me laughing during sex or after sex,
awesome.
that is a huge orgasm. Like that's the
great.
pinnacle. I've only ever cracked up after orgasm on a small handful of times, but it's when like the orgasm isn't even enough. You still have
when you said
laughter
that,
comes
I've only
out.
cracked up on a small, and I was like, "What's the next word?
Yeah,
What's the next word?"
All right.
On a small Sibian.
I am never gonna get through this fucking sentence. Am I?
No.
Here we go again. Sawyer sees Jack coming and he says, "Oh, happy day. Here comes Dr. Giggles." Jack tells them that he's headed
a stupid horror movie like in the 90s.
Oh, was
Dr.
it?
Giggles?
He would giggle while he was killing
Oh,
people.
shit. I know. I remember that now.
Yes.
Wasn't that the guy that played Lenny in L.A. Law?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yes.
I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was.
1992 movie. I saw it in the theater, actually. I remember. It was Larry Drake.
LA Law was good.
Larry Drake was the actor. That's the LA
So
Law
yes,
guy.
you're not getting through this sentence.
Yeah, I got through one sentence. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
Christy's Googling.
It was Larry
I can
Drake.
see her.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it was the guy. It was Larry Drake who played Lenny on LA Law. You're correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry. Okay.
All
Now
right.
you may proceed or try.
Yeah.
Jack tells him that he's headed into the jungle to look for the bearded man. Sawyer assumes that Jack is there to ask him to join and to bring a gun, but Jack says he's there for Kate. "I've already got a gun, but thanks for the offering," Jack adds while Kate is gathering her things to leave. I'm totally turned on.
And then he just pulls his ball sack off of Sawyer's forehead. It's like, I so own you.
Bernard's on the beach, surrounded by a group of extras, minus Nikki and Paolo, and he's telling them that they need to stop focusing on building an island town and start focusing on rescue. Hurley says, "Dude, we built a raft, but it got blowed up." Whoa. All right. So Bernard tells everybody, like, since there was a food drop, planes are obviously flying over the island, and so he wants to build a giant SOS out of black rocks on the beach.
Dharma planes.
Yeah. Rose wonders if they should ask Jack. Oh my God, everybody's asked Jack.
And then you can hear Locke out of the front go, "Fuck you, Rose."
Shut up, Rose.
Well, my thing is, why would you ask Jack?
Because he's like the de facto leader.
He's the leader.
Because he's
is
the
he
de
going to
facto
say no?
leader.
Don't fucking build a sign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you told me not to build a sign, I'd be like, "Fuck you, Jack. I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You go off."
Yeah, you diverting resources from a priority project here? Come on.
Okay, but to be fair to Rose, we know what she's up to. She's just fine. Like the ways that she's trying to stop this is not being very constructive. But we know what her motivation is.
Agreed.
But in the meantime, she gets real fucking nasty because after she asks if they should talk to Jack, he says, Bernard says he's not the president, he's a doctor. And she responds, "You're a dentist."
Oh, bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch.
You're just
first of all,
some shit.
First of all, a dentist is a doctor. All right.
Yeah.
That's that.
There's nothing wrong with being a dentist, but
fuck no,
there
there's
is
nothing wrong with
something.
being a dentist.
No, but there is something wrong with humiliating your husband. And that's
Fucking
what
way.
that was about.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
had to claw back my like for Rose the rest of this episode after that because I was like, "You fucking bitch! You just literally cut you just cut your husband's balls off in front of everybody." And he's maybe naive, but he's trying to help. Oh, yeah.
And as much as I hate this term, that was emasculating.
Oh, beyond. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's just fucked up. Well, I got some stuff to say at the end. Like,
I want to go to Rose and be like,
said.
"Rose, let me explain to you what that was. That was emasculating. I'm gonna mansplain
Mansplain to her.
Exactly.
All right. So Bernard pulls her aside instead of strangling her in front of a group of people.
Just chokes her out right there on the beach.
Yeah.
Ask her, like, what is her fucking problem? And she tells him that she thinks he's giving people false hope and he should stop, which is kind of a valid point, but she doesn't need to be a bitch about it. So Bernard just says nothing. He goes back to the group, tells him it's time to get going.
Again,
we're now in
here, the acting she does without saying things is great. Her face
the
after he
actress
leaves
is spectacular.
You could see in her eyes. You can see everything that just happened. You could see that she regretted it. You could see the indecision. All of it was right there. So again, good acting.
And knowing her motivation in hindsight, you can see the pain of like she doesn't know how to deal with this. Yeah, she doesn't know what to do, and so she's scrambling. And in that, she fucking ridicules her husband. Yeah. So. We're in flashback number 2. Rose and Bernard are sitting at a restaurant with Niagara Falls outside the window. Rose doesn't seem super impressed by the falls, so Bernard tries to up the ante by signaling to 2 violinists who come over to the table and begin playing. He tells her that he's
romantic?
been a bachelor.
No, it's weird.
Thank you.
Violinists coming up? Yeah.
2 violinists coming up behind
weird.
you. I mean...
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think I would be embarrassed. Like if I was in a restaurant full of people and there were 2 violinists just standing at my table, I wouldn't like that. Yeah. I would feel like that was a spotlight on me, and I don't want people. Don't look at me. Don't.
I imagine he's like.
It's
Well,
almost as cringe as being sung "Happy Birthday." You know, I hate it when people sing "Happy Birthday" because I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do while you fucking sing to me? It's so dumb.
You just sit there and you're like, "Oh, great." Yeah.
Sorry, honey.
Whoop-de-doo.
I couldn't afford 2 violinists, so I got 1 viola player. That's how you make sure they're not going to marry you.
Oh my God. All right. So I need another second, guys. Okay. So Bernard says to her, "I've been a bachelor for 56 years, but these past 5 months, I've fallen for you, and will you marry me?" And Rose looks back at him and responds, "Bernard, I'm dying. I'm sick, and I'm dying." Bernard excuses the violinist from this awkward situation. And Rose continues to tell him that she'd been in remission for the past couple of years, but the cancer is back, and her doctor says that she has about a year to live, maybe a little bit longer. Bernard takes a moment. He lets that sink in, and he says, "You haven't answered my question." Oh. And I'm crying,
Yeah, and it was a sweet moment.
Rose asks him if he's sure, and he says yes, and so she says yes. She will marry him. We are now back on the island.
Then he signals the violinist back. He's like, "Now you play Free Bird." It's like, I paid for y'all. Right. You only played half that song. Getting my money's worth.
Bernard is at the place where Charlie and Mr. Echo are building their church. And although we don't know it's a church yet, but he kids with Echo about how they lived together for 48 days. And now Echo doesn't call and he doesn't write. He wants them to help build the S.O.S, but they both refuse. And he asks for some of the logs that are there. Again, they refuse. Bernard says, everybody on this island is building something, and I'm trying to get us saved. And Echo, in his Echo way, responds, people are saved in different ways, Bernard.
Groan.
Yeah.
Bernard gets pissed.
This is one of those places. The second Echo gets all like God bothering. It's sort of like when Saeed is just knee deep in Shannon. Like, it's just like, come on, man, you're so much better when you're not doing this useless fucking thing. Come on.
Although I mean I get it. No, I get that we're gonna assume that he meant in a religious way because he's a priest or pretending to be a priest and whatever. But there is some truth to what he's saying. You can be saved in different ways. It doesn't have to be religious or anything like that.
The thing about somebody pretending to be a priest is they might as well be a priest because what they represent is pretend anyway. So who gives a fuck?
That's a good point. We just lost all our Catholic viewers or listeners.
Whatever. Yeah, we probably lost them.
I think we lost a long time.
Oh my God. All right. So Bernard gets really pissed and he tells Echo that he liked him better when he was beating people with his stick. And he storms off, and Charlie looks at Echo and says, I like you just the way you are. Oh, Charlie.
That's very sweet of Charlie.
Yeah. So in the hatch, Locke is at the computer. He's looking stressed out as fuck, trying to draw this map of the hatches. He scribbles things out in frustration and then uses his crutches to go into the living room. He tells Anna that he needs to see Henry. And she tells him that door stays closed while Jack is gone with her gun. So Locke starts screaming through the armory door. Henry, can you hear me? We know he can hear because obviously he's been overhearing everything the entire time he's been in there.
Why don't you guys let me go?
Exactly. So Locke is banging on the door. It's John. Henry, did you enter the numbers? Did you push the button or not? Henry, I need to know. I want you to answer me. Answer me, Henry. You know, Locke is just, again, in that Locke desperation that he gets into. And inside the armory, there's Henry sitting quietly with a fucking smirk on his face.
Because he doesn't have to do anything at all, and he's pushing John's buttons.
He has taken up residence in Locke's head.
By whether or not he actually pushed the button, he's pushing John's button.
Interesting.
See what she did there? There's so many levels. It's like an onion.
I know, right?
So many layers.
Right. So Bernard is dragging like an onion.
It's like one of those cookies. What were they called?
Hydrox?
No, that was the other episode. Never mind.
What? You mean the dharmalars or dharma?
Dharmalars, yeah.
Dharmalars,
so many layers.
Layers in a dharmalard. Dharmalard? Lard?
Dharmalard.
Ermagerd, it's
Dharmalard.
Oh my God. All right. Bernard is dragging rocks toward a now smaller group of people on the beach. He starts yelling about the missing people, and he tells everyone the letters need to be 40 feet from top to bottom. And Hurley says, dude, we're going to need a lot more rocks. So Bernard tells him there is a lava field half a fucking mile inland, and they're going to haul rocks back in two-person teams, which we know works so well with these people.
Right, the island doesn't understand two-person teams.
No. So
right.
He tells Hurley and Jin to start getting rocks, while he draws out the letters, and neither of them is pleased with these instructions.
I'm at the point right now where I'm going to interject. There's a far better way to do this. There are trees, and it's going to be easier to take some of these trees down than it is going to haul a bunch of rocks. Just do the exact same thing Echo did. Mark some trees, burn the area, take those trees, stack those up. Use those instead. All you need is something he says it needs to be high contrast. You need it black. You need it lightweight. You need it near to the place where you're going to deploy it. There you go.
Did you want to write a letter?
No, but I figured between being the island stud and being a cobbler that I could contribute in other ways. If my advice isn't needed, go ahead, break your back walking 5 kilometers inland or whatever the fuck you're going to do this.
Yeah, that's a bitch carrying all
I'm just trying to be helpful.
All right. We are in flashback number 3, folks. And Rose is riding in the car with Bernard in the Australian outback. She thinks they're lost, but he keeps reassuring her he knows exactly where they are. They pull over in a small dirt lot with a few buildings. Bernard hands Rose a brochure and confesses that he brought her here on purpose to see a faith healer. His name...
Oh, God.
His name is Isaac of Eluru. Eluru was the place, remember we talked a few weeks ago about the dingo taking the baby and how that was based on a real story, and that happened in Eluru.
Baby.
Oh, really?
So anywho, Bernard tells her that he's helped hundreds of people. Sure he has. She gets pissed as fuck, gets out of the car. He follows her, swearing that Isaac is the real deal and that he paid him 10 grand just to get her in.
Sucker.
Oh, that definitely proves that he's real.
Yeah. He cost 10 grand. How could he be
cost
fake?
10 grand. It must be real. Wow.
So she gets pissed and screams at him. I didn't ask for this. She tells him that she has made peace with what's happening to her. And he tells her, well, he hasn't.
Tough.
He needs to try. It's just who he is.
You're just an accountant. Or whatever. I don't know. Do we find out what she does?
What is his job? Yeah.
Dentist. He's a dentist. We just went over this.
Right, yeah. No, Rose.
Oh, what's Rose's?
Being a bitch.
She's an accountant. She's more analytical. She is not ready to believe in faith healing.
Well, nor should anyone be. But
yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
So Rose is organizing her shelter area on the beach, and Bernard is just a little bit away from her and their little hut, trying to talk Sawyer into helping him build the S.O.S. And Sawyer says Pasadena, like a dipshit. And
I looked up this reference and I didn't understand it. I can't find anything on it.
Are you guys serious? He's just saying, I'll pass. He's just saying, I'll pass, but he's going, I'll Pasadena.
Oh. God, I'm from Texas. I should know that.
Okay.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
I was looking for more meaning.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I Googled it. And I was like, what the fuck?
No. He's just saying, it would be like saying, like, I'll pass a Rooney. That's it. That's all he's saying.
Pass a Rooney.
So that's why I called him a dumbass for it. But anyways, Bernard goes over to Rose and tells her that her attack on him caused 11 people to quit helping, and he hopes that she's happy. She replies, have you ever stopped to think maybe the reason people are quitting is because you've got yourself a management problem? Jesus, lady.
Yeah.
He asks
She has a good point.
Yeah.
She does. Because he is kind of a,
he's condescending as a manager goes.
Yeah, and his entire idea is fucking fatuous to begin with.
Yep.
That said, even if he had a good idea, she definitely deflated or took the wind out of his sails before it got started. So he's going to blame her now for his failure.
Well, so he asks her, what's wrong with her, saying that he's just trying to do something, right? He repeats the line we just heard. I'm just trying to do something. And she tells him, well, that's the fucking problem. And, why can't he just let things be? He says, if I didn't always have to do something, you wouldn't be here. She stares at him for a second, packs up her things, and walks away. Jack and Kate are walking through the jungle when she tells him that she's flattered he chose her over Sawyer. And he says, I asked Saeed first, but he turned me down. Damn, Jack. Just say you're welcome. What the fuck? Dude. So then he says that he also asked Kate because he knows that the others don't want her. And then again, they didn't really want me either, he adds. Yeah. So she says that, it's probably because they're both damaged goods. Ooh. Then Kate notices a doll on the ground and says, "What's that?" She starts reaching. Oh,
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
No shit.
Has she never seen a movie set in Vietnam ever at all?
Seriously.
Well, also, this Danielle's caught multiple people this way already. Like, what are you doing?
Saw a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. So does Jack. Jack realizes it's a trap, and instead of, screaming, he runs to her into the trap as she picks the thing up. And Idiot. Yeah, so
I think there was
he thought really, really quickly. He knew. He's like, oh, I want to be rubbed up all up against her.
Yeah. Let me get in there.
We might never get out of here, but we can bone.
Okay, so the trap springs, and they are now hanging from one of Danielle's nets, and it's pretty cute. And there's a moment of silence, and then you just hear Kate say, "Sorry."
Yeah, and then Jack goes, "Oh, you can hear me now."
So you can hear me.
He does.
Yeah.
So
he asks if she's all right, and she tells him yes, and that's when he says, "Oh, good, so you can hear me." And Kate, points out this is probably Danielle's trap. She says it's not sophisticated enough for the others. And Jack starts reaching for his gun. He can't get to it. So Kate
she's talking shit about the trap that got her. It's not very sophisticated. I was like, you're here.
Got you.
Yeah, you're not sophisticated either.
Yeah.
So,
but then again, if you said that, you'd have to be like, I'm here too. Like, there's all kinds of this. This is kind of a mindfuck situation.
It's a fuck situation.
It could be. Yeah.
So Kate
it's like Love in an Elevator,
arms.
just like Stone Age version of Love in an Elevator.
Net.
Love in a hanging net. All right. She wraps her arms around him to grab the gun from his waistband, and he wants the gun so he can shoot the rope holding them up, but Kate refuses, saying she's a better shot. And then she tries and misses.
You could see the gun. At least I saw the gun. Whenever she was reaching for the gun, the safety was off. I was thinking, don't shoot.
I was like, you're going to shoot his butt cheek off.
Butt cheek off. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
He had the gun in his pants with the safety off?
Yeah.
Jesus,
yep. You can see the red circle.
Oh, what a fucking idiot.
Yep.
All right, so she misses. She shoots and misses. And Jack takes the gun and comments that she says, "Oh, yeah, you should do that. You have a better angle anyway." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's your excuse." And then shoots the rope like a champ, and they both fall to the ground. We're back on the beach. Bernard is pulling a pile of rocks. He sees Jin placing stones along the outside of the S in the sand and flips the fuck out because he says he told Jin that each row needs to be 3 rocks deep. 3. And Jin is clearly annoyed and says something to him in Korean. They yell at each other a little bit in English and Korean. And then Jin says in English, "Sorry," and kicks out of there. Like, fuck off, dude. So Locke sits in the sand with his crutches next to him, watching the ocean. And Rose sits down and says that he's in her spot. He offers to move, and she jokingly asks if he can. Locke doesn't laugh, so she says he must have left his sense of humor under the blast door. Fucking Rose coming with his...
because that wasn't very funny.
Oh. Ben's mad at Rose today.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed off at her.
I'm not a Rose fan this episode.
Me neither.
Yeah, so Locke mentions seeing Bernard hauling rocks, and she tells him that Bernard doesn't know an errand from a fool's errand, and she wonders why Locke isn't in the hatch. He tells her that he's done with the hatch. Yeah, sure you are. Yeah. And she says he'll be out of that splint and running around the island in no time. Locke comments that, Jack had told him it'd be about 4 weeks. She smiles coyly and says, "But honey, you and I both know it's not going to take that long."
What? What? What does she know?
What do you know? Flashback number 4. Rose is led into a big open room filled with crutches hanging from the ceiling.
So stupid.
Yeah, it was so dumb.
So dumb.
The walls are covered in
You realize
thank
people
you notes.
with those maladies still need those things. Like, even if the people you saved didn't need them, why are you keeping all of this shit?
Yeah, why not donate
trophies?
them to...
Donate them,
Seriously,
yeah.
yeah.
Not keep them as trophies in your stupid room.
Isaac comes into the room, and Rose is, very skeptical, which is good for her. She asks how it works and says something about, like, do you chant or I don't know what. So Isaac launches into an explanation. He says that there are certain places with great energy, spots on the earth, like the...
Anytime somebody starts with the use of the word energy, and they're not talking about energy as what energy actually is, fuck them. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is, like, obviously we're making fun of it in real life, but in the show, Isaac may be telling the truth. So he goes on.
This is true. Yes.
To say spots on the earth like the one we're above
poor
now.
man's Jean-Luc Picard.
He really is.
So he tries to explain to her, like, the energy is geological. It's magnetic. Or
Still.
perhaps it's something else. And when possible, he harnesses the energy and he gives it to others. He asks her, may I? Reaches out, puts his hands next to her face, closes his eyes, is very dramatic, as charlatans often are. And a few seconds later, he opens his eyes, looks pretty disturbed, and says, I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you, Rose. She, of course, is like, well, I didn't really expect you to, because, And then he tells her this isn't the right place for her. And she says, where is the right place?
You thought about a tropical island vacation?
Yeah, seriously.
She said she would rather have been on a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
So he wants to get the 10,000.
How does he harness this energy? Okay, let's just say it's magnetic.
To go like,
yeah.
He didn't,
But how do you
have any
harness
magnets.
How do you harness magnetic energy? Do you just have like a high iron diet or something? Like, what the
I think
fuck?
he's doing one of those Doctor Strange things.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Strange or the Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
His hands are doing this while the other hand is picking your pocket.
Exactly.
Oh.
Well, he tries to give the $10,000 back, but she says no. She's going to tell Bernard that she's been cured. We're back in the jungle. Jack wants to know why Kate called the others sophisticated. So she confesses
It's like they're kind of sexy.
that she took a little trip with Danielle and Claire, and they found the medical hatch. She
Had a
tells
nice
him,
little Galentine's Day.
we went on a girl
Found
power
another hatch.
trip and left you stupid boys at home. She also tells him, oh yeah, by the way, the bearded guy that we're going to see, yeah, that's not a real beard, it's a costume. And Jack's like, well, when were you going to tell me this? And she says, when you were going to let me back in the club. Oh, it's all about being in the club, isn't
The
it?
club,
Yeah,
the loop, the click. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Have you noticed that
So
if
they
you're not
come-
in this club or clique,
Junior high.
there's probably way less drama in your life? Just like, Steve,
Well, it
Scott,
appears that
whichever
way,
one
yeah.
of those are still alive, I bet their lives
I
aren't nearly
don't
as
remember
dramatic.
which
Now
one.
the extras seem like they're doing all right.
Nikki and Paolo are just tanning until season 3.
Ooh.
All right.
They're waiting
So
in the
they come-
wings.
Yeah. They Jack and Kate come into the
Is that where they
clearing.
were? They've been waiting in the wings the entire time? It feels like
wings?
That's just a phrase. It just means
yeah,
You know.
but there's wings on
like
a plane
in a
as well,
theater.
so I'm
Oh, in
confused.
the
That's
wings
right,
of the
wings
plane.
on the
Okay.
plane.
I was like, it's in a
Aha.
theater. You're in the wing. All right. Anyways, oh my God. They're in the clearing. Jack says this is the spot, and he just starts screaming, hey, I'm back. You say you're watching us. You hear me? We've got your man. And, he's challenging them, screaming into the jungle. Kate's like, they're not here. And Jack is stubborn as always and decides that he's just going to plant his fucking ass there and wait.
Damn right.
You know what? I like Jack a lot less on the rewatch than I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I would know because I've not rewatched it.
Yeah.
I like him.
Huh.
I've heard that before. The first time that I watched it, I saw him as the hero. And now as I watch it, I'm like, he's a control freak. He's a narcissist. Yeah. You know, I've heard other people say that, and then also about Kate, that, you know, everybody loved Kate as the anti-hero, but that, like, she's actually quite psychotic, and like, shit is wrong with her.
How is he a narcissist?
I still love Kate.
I can see him as many, many flaws, but narcissism I don't see in him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he is a surgeon, and they tend to have that personality type.
Megalomania.
I mean, I can see the control freak thing, and I can see that, like, everything that happens is something that happened to him. He takes everything super personally, even if it had nothing to do with him. It's all he lost control. I don't think that's a narcissism thing, though. I think narcissism would spin that same thing. Like, that would be a different implementation of maybe that same
I don't know. Narcissists
reactionary
do
sense.
tend to twist everything and make themselves the victims, and So.
But they also have a tendency to, like, beat they build themselves up by beating others down, and they hate themselves, and they, like. So I don't know. Maybe there's
that's true.
There's some complexity there.
He doesn't act like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He certainly is self-involved, though.
Okay.
We are back at the Originals camp, and Rose brings Bernard some dinner on the beach. Aww. And he is now sitting there alone with his rocks. And she tells him that she owes him an apology because she lied to him, and that healer did nothing. He does not believe her. Of course he did, because, like, you're better. And she says, Bernard, he didn't heal me, but that doesn't mean I'm not healed. What?
Huh?
Rose continues speaking on the beach, but the visuals change to the two of them sitting in the airport. And Rose is saying, when you're sick, you've got something inside you that doesn't belong there. You can feel it. Bernard, like, pulls their airline tickets out and kind of walks away from Rose in the airport. And we still hear the voice of island present Rose. She continues, and after the crash, I couldn't feel it anymore. At first, I thought it was just shock. Bernard's not buying it. He's trying to convince her that Isaac fixed her, and, you know, wants to know, like, why? Why would she lie? And she tells him that the reason she lied is because she didn't want him spending the rest of the time they had together trying to do something, trying to fix her. Bernard's still shaking off the idea that she had lied, and is saying, well, okay, well, maybe you're just in remission. You know, how do you know he didn't heal you? And we're now fully in a flashback. It's number 5. We're in the same spot that Rose is sitting by herself that we just viewed, right? He's in the airport. Mm-hmm. And she pulls a pill bottle from her purse, accidentally drops it on the ground right next to a wheelchair. Locke picks up the bottle and hands it to Rose. And she thanks him, says, you're welcome. They smile. Back to the beach at the exact same moment after Bernard asked, how do you know he didn't heal you? And she says, trust me, I know. Bernard has like one of those light bulb moments and says, oh my God, you don't want to be rescued, do you?
Nope.
Yeah. And then he does the correct husbandly thing and says, well, you know, if you can't leave, then neither can I. And, and then he jokingly says that he'd offered to take the S.O.S sign down, but, you know, he hadn't really gotten very far. So Locke is listening to
Island
music in the
needs a dentist.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Why are you not looking at people's teeth? You've been there for 2 months.
He probably doesn't have his dental tools.
I think you could scrape some plaque off with like a piece of bamboo.
I'm sure they could divert some resources from the torch orchard
factory
or wherever they're getting those things from.
They should have just given everybody heroin and then got their teeth cleaned.
It's like, oh, you're going for teeth cleaning again? Yeah. It's like,
all right. I think my teeth are dirty. Can you clean them again?
Oh, God. I get so sick when my teeth are dirty.
Yeah.
All right. So Locke's listening to music in the hatch, and Anna comes in and says, I pressed your button. Ew, Anna.
Ew.
It's not my button, he tells her.
It's like, wash your hands, darling.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He goes back to his drawing, and this time he does not seem so frustrated. It seems like remembering is easy for him now. He's smiling and sketching away. And then we get another lost music montage. The music starts playing, and here's Charlie and Eka working on their church. Jin is rubbing Sun's pregnant belly. Claire is playing with Aaron, who is now the fattest baby to have ever lived. I don't know where they're getting this kid from. That baby is like 4 times the size it was when it was born. And so then Hurley is... He's making hand shadow puppets for Libby, who finds him hilarious. It's adorbs. Sawyer is very reluctantly feeding Vincent because he hates to be the good guy. And Rose and Bernard are cuddling. Out in the jungle, Kate and Jack are sitting by a fire. She wants to know how long Jack is going to wait there, and he tells her, like, when my voice comes back.
Oh, how long am I going to wait here? Sorry.
9 inches. I got a pair of 9s for you.
He's going to wait until his voice comes back, and then he's going to yell some more. And she says that she apologizes for kissing him, says she's sorry. And Jack does one of those, like, Jack kind of head tilt, scoff, Jack faces, and says, I'm not. And I'm like, fuck.
Yes.
They don't have time for that because...
apologizing.
I thought they were going to go at it there.
I don't think she was apologizing for kissing him. I think that she was saying that she wishes she hadn't done it. She regrets
kissing him.
Yeah.
I guess I could see it that way. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there is a difference.
I regret to be short-lived once he pulls the 9 inches.
I'm sorry I kissed you. In this case, I think I regret kissing him.
Okay.
She walks bow-legged back to camp. Oh,
oh my God.
we finished that game with 3-hole.
Oh my
God. So Jack tells her that he's not sorry that she kissed him. And I'm cheering fuck. But they can't. There is no time because suddenly there's movement in the jungle and a torch can be seen coming toward them quickly. Someone is running and they are making some frightened, gasping sounds. All of a sudden, pops out of the jungle.
And I actually guessed it was going to be this person, too.
Did you? All right. Pops out of the jungle, falls at their feet. They roll him over and Kate says, Michael?
What?
His eyes leap open and he screams, "Whoa!
Whoa, that's what I was expecting.
Coral!
In fact, we get the lost title screen. That is the end of episode. And that is the third badass ending in a row.
Yes,
Michael, fucking senior cockblock.
No shit. That'd be the ultimate cockblock.
God, man.
That'd be the ultimate.
All right. Who wants to hear the history of S.O.S?
I don't.
Okay, so let's go to best and worst moments.
All right.
First.
Well, then you know what? We'll go back and do something we did earlier. Earmuffs, Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wait.
Earmuffs.
All right. Lots of people think that S.O.S stands for Save Our Ship or Save Our Souls. It does not. Instead, it stands for nothing. And here's why.
Shit. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Morse code.
I thought it was shit on a shingle.
So it is based on Morse code. Samuel Morse in 1835 created the system of codes of dots and dashes to signify letters of the alphabet and communicate messages. Well, SOS became SOS because it is one of the easiest signals to tap. 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots. 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots. And so because of its simplicity, it became the signal for distress. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Before that, there was a code, CQD. The CQ translated into general notice, and the D was an abbreviation for distress. It wasn't a universal call, though. England used it. The U.S. Navy used something different. And Italy used SSSDD. And so when SOS came along, it was the first signal of distress to be adopted universally. And it was ratified in 1906 at the Radio Telegraph Conference. And
the Italian version had its own symbols for A.
Wow. So yes, it was adopted officially in 1908 and is now used universally as a signal for distress. Those in need of rescue. Here are a few things that you can know. As opposed to just SOS, there are actually qualifiers to the code. If you do SOS AAA, that means you are being attacked by an aircraft. SOS QQQ is an attack of an unknown raider. SOS RRR signals an attack by a surface raider. And SOS SSS signals a submarine attack.
What about SSS RR Martin?
And that means everyone you know is going to die.
Exactly. It means I'm at the red wedding. Shit.
Exactly. All right. That's it, guys. That is the history of SOS.
I just want to make an announcement for everybody. We do have another version of this podcast that will be released all in Morse code. Some riveting stuff.
You go ahead and work on that.
It's a little bit longer, and you might have trouble understanding a bit of the nuance.
Hours longer.
This podcast is hours longer than it needs to be right now, but all right.
Even hit an
this
hour
one's
yet.
actually. I think we're going to come in.
Done.
Yeah, I think this is going to come in 10 minutes shorter at least than our average. That's just me guessing.
Okay, so now I'm going to speak very slowly just to prove you wrong.
No, that's because you've been drinking.
Oh, yeah that's true, too. Derek, what are your best and worst moments, please?
My best moment was Jack and Kate stuck in the trap together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then the worst moment was just, a lot of it was just Rose just being a real pain in the ass during the episode, just treating Bernard really shitty, calling him out and doing all that.
Yeah. My best moment was when Kate said sorry in the net, but very close second when we find out that Rose has known about Locke the entire fucking time.
Oh,
yeah. Worst moment. Maybe we should talk to Jack first, and you're a dentist. Those two lines from Rose. So I have some real fucking issues with the way she was treating Bernard. And I normally love Rose, but Jesus fucking Christ.
So this episode, I thought she was great.
Yeah. The way
she was cornered. She was cornered. That's why she's
I understand. I understand her motivations, but the thing is just like also Ben and I try to live via the couple bubble theory. You can go to Mowage. There's a whole episode about it if you'd like, which says that like as a couple, you deal with your shit in private and then you face the world together. And she was just not like she was doing everything she could to humiliate him. And I understand where she was coming from. She doesn't want to leave the island. Her cancer is cured. She found her spot, the magnets or whatever. But like, this don't is be a bitch.
Yeah, this is where, the way Caleb and I work our marriage comes in is that communication is extremely important. And even if it's a hard conversation, you still have to have the hard conversations. Yep. So if she had just communicated to Bernard instead of being a cunt to him for the entire episode, we would have been one episode down, but I mean,
we would have had nothing to talk about this week. But
But I mean, this is almost a bottle episode.
It is. Agreed.
Yeah, it's almost a bottle episode. It almost doesn't need to be here at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we get a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
What were your best and worst moments, Christy? No, sorry, Derek. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
What were your best and worst moments?
Was the moment between Rose and Locke, knowing that they had both been healed by the island. And I'm with you guys on it. A lot of just Rose yelling at Bernard and Rose being condescending to Bernard. And, that's just, I get so cringe when people are like that together, because Caleb and I we don't talk to each other that way in private, much less out in public in front of people. So that was a problem for me.
Yeah, my parents were never that way either.
Yeah, you grew up in a good family, it sounds like.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they had their share of, sometimes had arguments, usually Saturday night after a couple of drinks, but it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, really was.
Ben, what are your best and worst?
My worst was like everyone else. Honey, you're a dentist. The best was also Rose when she was talking to Locke and she says, "But honey, you and I both know it won't take that long." It was good. Good moment.
Yeah, that is a great moment.
I like that we shared a lot of the same moments.
Same
moments this week. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
I like it when we share moments together. Yeah. That's why we do this.
Let's see how our rankings look. Ben, why don't you give us yours?
My rankings. I was just thinking about it. I was like, well, we only have our rankings. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Bernard was actually my favorite in this episode. Poor guy. He's just trying to do his best. Fool's errand, maybe. I put Jack in second place. It was really, honestly, this was a hard episode for favorites because so I didn't have a third best. With worst, Rose, I couldn't handle her in this episode. Locke got second worst. I'm not totally sure why. It's just he sort of kind of pissed me off. I had no third worst. I didn't fuck anybody.
Pissed me off.
He just sort of pissed me off. Yeah, I had no third worst. I didn't fuck anybody, and I'm just gonna kill faith healers in general.
Yes,
just wipe them off the face
healers,
of the earth.
all of them. Yeah, I put that on the spreadsheet because that's who I killed as well. So I had some trouble with the characters for best character as well. I put Jack in because he's just always determined to try to do the right thing. And then I put Charlie because he's hilarious and Echo because he's a sexy motherfucker. I had, for my worst characters, I had Bernard and Rose. And I had no third because I just was really upset at their complete and total lack of communication. And I don't think Bernard was innocent in it. I think she's right about his incessant need to do something and he could just calm down about it. But, I just was really disappointed in their relationship style in general. I'm going to fuck Jack and Kate in the jungle and kill all faith healers in general. Just bye. Derek, how about you?
My best character was Jack, just because he's doing the Jack thing. And second best was Bernard, just because he was trying to do something and how he tried to help Rose throughout the whole episode. My third favorite was Jin, because he just stuck with Bernard to the end of the failed S.O.S. mission.
Oh, and then that's true. He did.
Yeah, he put up with all of his poor management. I only had one worst character, and that was Rose, because just the way she treated Bernard. And I'm going to fuck Kate at the campfire near the end there before the cock blocking appears. And I'm going to kill all the faith healers.
I love that. I put that on the spreadsheet and everybody was like, oh yeah, I'm going to kill the faith healers.
That's it.
That's it.
And it's funny. My mind went the other way. I immediately was like, okay, starting with season 3, we're no longer going to do all of this stuff in a place where everyone can see what everyone else did. I want everyone to send me their things for the power rankings, and I'm going to unveil it at each episode so that we're not all copying each other and saying, oh, let's kill the faith healers.
Oh, you made a decision. Yeah, that's actually the second time it happened.
No, I didn't make a decision. I came up with the idea that we would talk about in a post-production meeting.
Or right now on the podcast.
Or right now on the podcast.
In front of everybody.
Or both.
Rose.
This is actually the first time. This isn't the first time that this has happened. I put the NYPD on the spreadsheet once and everybody killed them too.
Copying. You just saw it and I was like,
everyone else
What did I say?
Killed the NYPD.
You said
NY. Sorry, LAPD.
Yeah,
you're right.
You said LAPD, and everyone else said kill them, and I said fuck the police.
Oh, that did happen. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Christy, what are your rankings?
I kind of don't know what I was thinking when I put this up there. My top is Bernard. I might have been tired. I don't know. My top person is Bernard. And then I put Rose as the second. I don't know why. And then bottom for is just Henry. I had a hard time thinking about who were the best and worst characters because, like I said, it was just kind of an unimportant episode. I'm going to fuck Kate because why not? And I'm going to just go with y'all and we're going to have a
faith healer
jihad
genocide.
On the faith killers.
Yeah. We're going to go jihad on their asses.
That's right.
Ben, can you update us where our power rankings are at the end of this week, please?
I will. We still have Echo in first place. He gained a point, I guess, by being a sexy bitch.
A motherfucker. Sexy motherfucker.
That's it.
Yeah.
We had Hurley held serve. He did not gain or lose any points, but he did lose his place because Jack jumped out of the bottom three into second place.
Wow. All right.
Whoa.
Kate fell to third place, or Kate, who was tied with Locke, in third place. No, she's still in third place with 71 points, but Locke has fallen out of the top three. So now we have Hurley and Locke falling into 4 and 5 respectively. At the bottom, we have...
That was confusing. Who's 1, 2, and 3? Can you just give 1, 2, and 3?
Echo, Jack, Kate.
Thank you.
There we go. At the bottom, Mr. Cooper. Behind him by 1 point, Charlie. They swapped, so Charlie's fallen down to second place, and Randy has fallen out of the bottom three and been replaced by Henry Gale.
All right.
Okay. Christy, what are your final impressions?
I think I've kind of already said it as we've gone along in these last 10 or 15 minutes. It was just kind of an unimportant episode. I do like getting Rose and Bernard's backstory. I don't necessarily love the way the two of them interact with each other. I think it's a little dysfunctional. So, yeah. Meh.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying about it's sort of an unimportant episode, except for one minor detail, and that is that the island also cures cancer as well as paraplegics. So that's pretty big.
We have Michael back. So
that's pretty big, right? And then Michael shows up for sure.
But we already knew that it cured, paraplegia. So.
Right. I just mean now, the idea of a healing property, we know it's not just Locke, I guess. Is kind of what.
Now, it doesn't heal stupidity, though.
No, apparently not.
But yeah, other than that, the episode, it really kind of disturbed me, to be quite honest, because I loved Rose and Bernard, the whole story of them coming back together. And then you find out, wait, they're fucking dysfunctional. No, that's not my love story. What the hell?
I liked Rose better alone, and I liked Bernard better alone than I like Rose and Bernard as a couple.
Yeah, so far.
And
they did,
I've experienced that in real life with some couples.
Yeah, that's true. And
I liked you guys before I saw you together. I never want to hang out with you two together again.
I'll hang out with you and I'll hang out with you, but I don't want to hang out with the two of you at the same time.
Yeah, you guys are cringe
I know
together.
People like that too. Yeah. So I do think there was a little bit of a redeeming bit at the end when Bernard realized what her deal was, and then was like, oh, okay, well then I guess we're staying. He made the decision to support her in that moment. It just was the lack of communication up until then was obnoxious. I don't have much else to say about the episode. Money. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of a bottle episode. I don't know. What did you think, Ben?
I tried to find things about this episode that I liked, but it was all pulling teeth.
Is that a dentist?
Pun. Yeah,
no
dentist
my
reference.
God.
I agree with Christy. It was a bottle episode. I wish they would do these because they have to throw these in every once in a while. But what they do is that like the story comes to a fucking screeching halt to bring you up to speed on characters who are only, at least to date, sort of tangentially important. Like if there's a way that they could write these episodes where you get this sort of discovery of their background, but they really are furthering the plot as well. It feels like they're just pumping the brakes, and in this case, it was especially cringeworthy with how fucked up their relationship was.
But it furthers the plot because it introduces the idea of other places on the planet about that have this magnetic quality, right? I mean, it furthers the plot in that way.
Well, a faith healer says that, so is it really true?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's a magnet in the hatch, doesn't it?
There is.
Yeah. I get it. Yes, there was a kernel of something new that popped out of it, but it wasn't. To me, it just was not enough. It didn't move the plot forward enough to justify the fact that the subject matter that they're dealing with was so fucking cringe the whole time. I did not really care for this episode.
And
the arguing couple.
Yeah. And let me just say, tedious. I couldn't afford to have my wisdom teeth taken out when I was in my early 20s. So I did it. I got it done for free, and I was part of a study, and I had to do one side in one weekend and then go back a couple months later and do the other side. So the first time I got the placebo pill and I had no pain relief. The second time, not only did they give us pills, but they also taped magnets to our face. So let me just tell you, as someone who has experienced that, and I once again got the fucking placebo with no pain relief help, magnets can't fucking heal you.
Fuck pulling teeth.
Not unless you're Iron Man.
There is no way. Because I had two of my wisdom teeth removed, and I had the painkiller, and they gave me the gas.
Yeah. I only had Novocaine, and I require more Novocaine than normal people.
Because you're redheads.
Yeah, and these were not like my normal dentist. So when I was like, I need more Novocaine, they didn't believe me. So,
yeah,
but I had to get them out.
Yeah, redheads tend to need more opioids.
Is it safe?
Than other people. Yeah, that is true.
I've also been known to wake up in the middle of surgery.
Oh, that's bad.
I mean, I didn't. I was so lightly out. Yeah. I just remember seeing my doctor's face, and it was very hazy. And he said, "Go back to sleep, Christy. Go back to sleep." And that's all I remember. I guess at that point, he like kicked the anesthesiologist and was like,
crank it up a little bit.
Get rid of your, crossword puzzle and pay attention.
And stop taking
I highly doubt there was a crossword puzzle involved.
Stop taking the anesthetic yourself and give it to the patient.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, Derek. What did you think of this episode, and did it create any questions?
Yeah, this episode was... I actually had looked up that bottle episode. I'd never heard that term before, and it's pretty much fits this one. It's pretty blah. We did learn the backstory of Bernard and Rose, and it's kind of sucks compared to what I thought. The reunion was like so happy, and even I got a little bit of sand in my eye for that.
I remember.
But Bernard was willing to do anything to save Rose, even if it meant going to a stupid faith healer. And Rose does know that Locke was in a wheelchair before the crash and that the island cured them of their ills. But really, the only thing that kind of moved forward was Michael appearing out of the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to my question is, where has he been? And was he released by the others, or was he just never caught?
Oh.
Like he's been running around there going,
Walt!
Walt!
Okay, well, that question will be explored. I will tell you that you are not the only person who considered that Michael may have been released. And we will talk about that in a few weeks. Next week, there's something special that's going to happen. It is season 2, episode 20. It's called 2 for the Road. And it's an Ana Lucia episode, and it's also a Christy episode. And
perfect.
I made a decision to bring in some emotional support for Christy to get her through her Ana Lucia episode. Next week, the big reveal. We are going to have a guest host, and his name is Caleb, and you know him to be Christy's husband and my other friend of 20 some odd fucking years, because all three of us met waiting tables together. And he is going to be here, and he is a brilliant screenwriter, and he knows about all kinds of things, media, TV, movies, and it's going to be exciting to have his perspective. So get excited. Next week, season 2, episode 20, 2 for the road. It's Ana Lucia, it's Christy and Caleb, and we'll see you then. Bye.
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 That sounded like bye.
I'm leaving all
like
of this
slaughtered
in.
Lamb.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at SpaceBear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.